what's the reasoning of putting that truss?
Strength. Just all the kinds of stuff I like to do.
General, yeah.
Yeah, I should come over here. Yeah, if you're putting this truss on a diesel, you may have to do that.
May have to cut a hole.
We have to cut a hole. We got our intern. So good morning.
Good morning, YouTube.
Happy snowy late April in Colorado. We're getting one of the last of our late season snows that's hitting up here at altitude. We're going to be doing the final upgrades and whatnot for my Wrangler this time around. If you watched some of our other videos, you saw that I did the Clayton lift kit, but I've been doing it in stages. I didn't buy the entire kit all at once. Now I don't have to do any of this. Just went to Easter Jeep Safari. It performs just fine, but there are a few things that I like to do that I want a little reassurance that I have a few upgrades, just to make sure that I don't break anything, because I hate wrenching on the trail.
So what all have we got here, Roy?
Well, we've got a box full of shocks, got a box full of control arms, got a box full of axle shafts, we've got a drive shaft on the floor here, we got the truss, got some gear oil, got some paint, RTV, some parts for putting the axle back together, and I've got shock relocation brackets from Metalcloak. These
For the front end.
On the front end, the problem with long shocks and long travel is that the shocks actually end up getting bent because the axle twists under too far. These move the pivot point out a little bit so that the shock can do its full travel without bending. So as long as I've got new shocks, I'm going to do that. And then lastly, I have lower control arm skids that we're going to weld on as long as we broke the welder out. So, yep. And our helper has just arrived this morning.
Morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Chris.
Let's do this.
Did you bring enough for everybody?
Yep.
All right.
In his defense, he did ask. I told him not to.
Oh, he didn't ask me.
I still brought extras.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. You
Oh,
want some?
sweet.
You hungry?
Okay. All right. Well,
All right.
let's have a little bit of food and get to it.
We're talking about what work needs to be done and learning exactly who's doing what work.
We got our intern. Okay, so first step we did was there's a drain hole over here. Took the plug out, took the cover off, get all the stuff drained out. I've got a little bit of gunk on the magnet on the drain plug. This actually looks fairly normal for, what is it?
30,000 miles.
Well, we've changed the fluid before, so it's less than 30,000 miles. But yeah, this
Just a little
you get
bit
a
of
little bit of gunk. Just the gear teeth sliding against each other like they do as they drive down the road. You're going to get a little bit of this. This looks normal. I'm gonna clean the drain plug up, put it back in, and then we're gonna stuff some rags in so it doesn't drip so much. And then we're gonna drop the axle out from under the Jeep.
I need to take a minute to introduce you to this particular intern. Chris is a member of Mile High Jeep Club. One of the benefits of being a member of a Jeep Club is the ability to share information, not just about trails, but also on how to build these rigs. And here, Chris and our later intern are going to get hands-on experience on stripping down an axle and helping Roy build his rig the way he wants. This is great hands-on experience, and we are so grateful that Chris was able to join us today.
Is the only difference about the new drive shaft is that it's thicker?
Nope. There's a whole bunch. We'll get to it.
Uh-oh.
You're going to see the interns make mistakes, ask questions, have fun with tools that they don't regularly get to use. But that's the whole point of them being here today.
Useful to have a shelf there that will politely capture
As long as you can get your arm.
all of your falling tools.
Yeah. Fortunately, once you get past the Loctite,
Yeah.
it's not so bad. So we got all 16 bolts out of the drive shaft, 8 on each end. It is kind of wedged in there a little bit.
Yeah, it's sitting in kind of inside that cup.
And it's been there a while, so it's very comfortable there, and it doesn't want to go.
Yep.
Yeah. So actually, Chris, can you join me under here?
Come in, boss.
Okay, I'm actually going to slide. So we need extra set of hands to catch.
Yep. Nice.
All right. One drive shaft out.
That's a whole different. Okay. Make sure you catch the springs before they drop.
Okay,
Okay.
locked.
And intern number 2 has joined us. Jay Porchert is Mile High Jeep Club's land use coordinator, and he is also here to learn and compare notes. Jay has an extensive mechanical experience, but not necessarily in vehicles, so he's here to learn as well.
Yeah, so you put the box end on. Yeah. And then you loop the box end of that one on there. Yeah. There you go.
You're on the right idea.
You got to spin around a little bit. So, and then you push up at the top, and you have a lot more leverage. There you go.
There you go.
So this side should be ready. So they're hub-centric and lug-centric wheels. These are designed for lug-centric wheels, where the taper of the lug nut goes into the wheel to align.
Yep. Center.
You know that one meme where the guy's sitting there that proved me wrong.
Yep.
That everybody
Yep.
does it. Cross-threading is just free Loctite. Proved me wrong.
What's that?
I'm changing my mind.
Unlike that
prerogative.
meme.
It's like a prerogative. It's a prerogative. It's my prerogative.
I can do what I wanna do.
How? Well, you're keeping the factory axle, right?
Yep.
The housing itself we're keeping. The gears we're
Right.
keeping.
And that's basically a Dana 44?
Yeah. Yeah. That.
Like your rims seem incredibly useful.
I wanted the thing to drop all the way, but it hit that one. Because I think that would have been funny. So, yeah. So we have to do the same thing, but the bolt is interfering. So can we drop the pinion? There it goes. Oh, watch your leg. That could have been better. We'll stick it back in there. Yeah, and because the hose will have to be on to weld it before you weld this in place, but if the hose is on there when you weld it in place. Okay, so we've got this axle mostly disassembled. We still have the ring and pinion in, and we're just just spitballing the fit of this truss, you can see how it matches the casting fairly closely. Haven't gotten in here to see exactly where it interferes, and it obviously does not go the other way.
Even a little.
Not even a little. But one of the things that we just noticed,
It's a breather valve.
we have a breather hose. The whole point of a breather hose is as this axle heats up and cools down, it lets air in and out so you don't blow out your seals if it gets too hot. You don't suck in through your seals if it gets too cold. And it's over here. It's nice, it's convenient, it works. It's the way the
And a
factory
diesel.
put it together.
For a diesel.
There's no hole. The hole is over here. Now, our speculation is that because of the diesel exhaust being on the passenger side, where for all the gas engines it's on the driver's side, I bet all the gas engine Jeeps have a breather hose over here, not over here.
Can certainly prove that. Take a look under
Yeah.
Snoopy.
And so we'll look at a couple other Jeeps, but that's my suspicion. What that means though is that the breather hose is now impossible to get to once we put the truss on, unless we do something about it. And my solution is we're going to find a hole saw, we're going to measure, put in a hole about the same size, just pop it in.
Does it have to be the same size?
Roughly.
Okay.
Roughly. But yeah, and so that way we have access to actually attach the breather hose, because you want the breather hose to get the hose up
As high as possible.
as high as possible, so that as you're driving around in water you don't suck water into the axle, because water in the axle is bad.
Oops, sorry.
Easy kill.
I got that on video.
Not
Sorry.
too much. Yeah, you're squeezing out a whole bunch.
No, it's just pouring out.
And it continues to this day to fascinate me that hole saws work in steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drum roll?
So,
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Look at that. Like it was meant.
Like it was designed that way.
Well, we know that it wasn't.
Almost.
Almost.
But yeah. So, yeah, if you're putting this truss on a diesel, you may have to do that.
They have to cut a hole.
You may have to cut a hole. Yeah, we
Are you drilling into that, or are you punching it for?
punching it. What you end up with is an identifying mark that you match between the two, so that you know you put this back on the way it came off.
Well, wouldn't, if you took a picture, wouldn't you know that the arrow points towards the wheel?
Okay? When I take this off and I take that one off, they are two parts that actually end up looking exactly alike.
Yep.
And so which one goes on which side?
Okay, so they're not, oh yeah, clearly they're not the same size.
I mean, like with that truss, I just kind of threw a hole in the vague location that
Right.
it needed to be. When it comes to gears,
You don't have that luxury.
you have to get this together, because what they do is they actually attach the cap and then they drill out the inside for the bearing race, so that the two pieces are now mated for life. And if you put it on upside down, you put it on the other side, they don't match.
In other words, it's a Swiss watch for
Yeah.
a Jeep.
You have your table.
Now, I also put it down in the same orientation it came off.
You can do that pretty well.
Big shops actually have a lettering kit.
A letter stamp kit.
And so they'll take one letter and they'll put it one orientation, and then they'll flip it 90 degrees on the other side. I don't have two distinct dots. And then I do one, two.
Doesn't that pose a problem with the seal?
Not really. I'm not going deep enough. You see that? that shim right there. Yep. Make sure that doesn't go anywhere. And then there's another one that's going to drop. That's okay. You just don't want to get them mixed up. Yeah.
So that spline is twisted.
Yes.
It's helical. What amazes me is at the molecular level.
Right.
The crystalline structure of the metal actually contorts.
Yeah.
Isn't it some sort of principle that, like, basically in the end, everything is basically fluid? Like, yes, this is solid, but it's with the right application of force, the molecular structure moves.
Well, everything moves due to temperature.
Yes.
The only time any molecular structure of any sort won't move is at absolute zero.
Which is basically impossible to get.
Correct.
Got it. Just like the speed of light, physically.
Yeah, so all the molecules are vibrating in their lattice
Yeah.
at a particular temperature.
Yeah.
At a frequency.
And also a
The
frequency.
frequency determines temperature.
Right.
As a temperature goes up.
Isn't that part of
frequency
this
goes up.
steel?
That's the reason with Planck. Planck's constant determines that
Yeah.
energy value.
Isn't that part of the steel making process is heating it up and that aligns the molecules? The thermocycling.
Yes, heat treating
Heat-
metal
Oh.
to get various properties.
Yes.
Heating and cooling
Heating and cooling, yes.
So what
at
that
different-
specific rates.
Yes.
Yeah, so what that does is it takes call it the doping material of them and moves it around,
Find it
it
in
distributes it around the steel.
Find the socket. Do you have the socket? So we've got carrier out, we've got everything out except the pinion. Now, because this has a crush sleeve, it's not just a tighten it to spec when we get it back together. We actually have to be very careful about it. And one of the ways to do that is to measure what the preload on the bearing is before we take it apart, so that as we put it back together, we'll tighten it, check it, and sneak up on it so that we get it back to the right tightness. Because if you over tighten, then you've ruined the crush sleeve and you need to put in a new crush sleeve, and that's annoying, and I don't want to do that.
Your Jeep does not like it when you over tighten its nuts.
Right.
Does anything?
So I've got my handy tool here that measures torque, measures how much effort it takes to turn these things, and I need to zero it out, and then it's kind of hard to do this all at the same time.
So the idea is to
Okay, so
have it start turning.
yeah, so Jay, when I say go, start turning very slowly.
Okay.
So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and then let go. $11 and a half. We'll do that again.
Yep.
Boy, that is not much preload at all.
All right, can
That's 9.
Yeah, I mean it's just short of the point where you can spin it and have it continue to coast.
Yeah.
Actually.
now describe why that's a bad thing.
Because loose
Is
bearings that aren't snug up against the races, can move back and forth,
which will
And-
wear the bearing.
which wears the bearing, but it also misaligns the gears. And under stress, if the gears start pushing out, they're not lined up with
And
the
then you
pinion
get-
is not lined up with the ring gear, and you get damage on your
You
gears.
get shavings in your fluid.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the old cartoon Primitive Pete?
No.
The right tool for the right job. If you're not using the right tool, you're a primitive Pete. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Holy shit, I'm dating myself.
In fact, it eventually led to the development of all the numerous sledges and hammers we have today. But more than that, Out of Pete's Stone Age hammer came other tools. Tools for every purpose.
Make with the fire.
Make with the fire, the thermometer. So the way it works with MIG is your power is tied to the wire feed rate. So this 352 is 352 inches per minute wire.
Wow. Way more.
This is the wire feed rate, and based on the wire feed rate, it increases the power, and that's appropriate to 3/8 inch steel.
This is DC only.
Okay, that's bigger than the ones I've got.
Sweet.
And that's all you want is the pumpkin?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the tubes-
So we've got enough
Tubes are
welder
mild.
to set it off.
Tubes are mild sealed, so.
Kenneth, do you have another hood or goggles or anything?
I do have another hood if you want to watch.
Got everything out of iron.
While the welds are cooling and the interns are gabbing at the water cooler, Roy turns his attention to the cleanup and installation of the Metalcloak shock relocation brackets on his front axle.
So what did he have to grind down? Right here is the truss,
Yeah.
which interferes, and so
Oh, I see.
the hole doesn't quite.
So it's still a factory axle, it's a highly modified factory axle, right?
Yeah, it's multiple aftermarket parts colliding.
Yep. And that's the game you play when you get into real custom rigs.
The next day.
It's morning, day 2 of working on the axle. We got the truss welded in, wrapped it up in blankets so it would cool down at a reasonable rate. Help prevent welds from cracking. It doesn't look like there's any cracked welds, but it looks like my lack of practice means I didn't weld a couple of spots well enough. So I'm going to touch those up. We're also going to weld on the lower control arm skid plates and go from there.
A little bit of the left-handed dexterity and everything else as you're trying to get that to line up and come together.
I dropped the bolt or the nut in this little...
In this little crevice and... Okay.
Yeah.
So I've probably got about 2 threads on that. Yeah, go ahead and pop the... let me get my fingers out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that much longer. It's one bigger in their catalog. But yeah, so I want a little bit more down travel. 81.
Well, if you wanted to be paranoid...
Yeah, there you go.
Replace the flange that accepts the Rezepa with a flange that accepts a new kind of joint.
Yeah, the double cardan.
The double cardan. So, first things first is to remove nut.
If you'd flip that camera around with all 4 of us sticking our heads under here, it'd be...
Loctite.
It would end up being the cover photo of our new album.
Yeah. Okay. Ready? Probably need a puller like we did last time.
Yes.
Thousands of these. Yeah. And keep in mind, Kenneth, when you're going to put this in, rub a little fluid on the outside before you slide it in.
Lube it up before sticking it in.
Yeah.
You got it.
You can't work with fluid and not drip.
And not have it be a mess. Yep.
That's the plumber's
That goes there.
motto. Now those 4 holes have to line up, right?
Well, they don't line up to anything specific on the transfer case.
Oh, okay. So they're free spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that flange is the spinning part.
A little flywheel, so to speak.
Yeah.
150. Did I say 166?
And that is replacing this.
No. That was under that.
Under that, okay. Whoops. Cut.
Goes for the blooper reel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And I did remember
To put the
put a
bearing.
little bit of put the bearing in, and I also put in a little bit of RTV
To help feel.
on the surface, just because every time I put in a seal without it,
It leaks. Feed it up through the hole.
so far I'm 100% for leaking if I don't do this.
Leaking through the splines.
Yeah. There we go. That's enough.
The whole point of that was just to push the bearing
Just push the bearing
far
in
enough onto the pinion that the nut can start.
Okay.
You just need to look pretty.
Oh, that's hard to do.
So we get to play the game, since this is a crush sleeve, we get to play the game of tighten it that much, check it, tighten it that much, check it, tighten it that much, check it, rinse and repeat until we get to 6, or
Somewhere
between
close.
6 and 9. So, okay, so this is very careful. Lean into it just a little bit.
It was about 5 degrees.
Yeah, and I don't want to do any more than 5 degrees at a time. Okay, take that out. Because if you go too far, you got to take it all apart and start over with a new crush sleeve, because you crushed the crush sleeve too much. So zero my tool. Again, that still feels light. 2.5. Right?
Well, we didn't overshoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to do it in the same increments, because if you try
you
to
got to do it small.
try Kentucky windage, it'll guarantee that you get in trouble.
Yeah. And so this is going to be. I'm going to estimate we're going to do this at least 10 times.
I don't think that's how it works in Vegas, but you can play that here.
Hey,
I'm going 12. I bet you keep going wonderfully overly cautious.
You could.
You know, would there be enough of a market out there to actually make a profit on
Be
a
a hard
home
thing to
built?
ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.
Watch your fingers in case something slips.
Fair enough.
you really get to appreciate the amount of effort that goes into vehicles manufacture.
Oh, for sure. I love seeing all the precision.
Still 3.
Got it.
And either that, or you can have one of those guys hold the camera.
I'm going to make one of these guys lose their fingers this time.
Got it.
Oh yeah, I'll volunteer for that.
Here's the thing: the shims move when you're putting them in, and so actually, if you come around the other side of the axle to the
Back.
other side,
Pinion side.
Don't drop the shit.
what you drop.
Something came apart.
Okay.
So, if you hold with your fingers up high and up high, okay? And I'll try to come in from down low. Okay. Pinion needs to come down a little bit.
Pinion down. Okay. Don't forget which side those go on.
You can't mix them up.
Okay.
They're actually different sizes. Okay.
All right, now this will
So
be
this
easier.
is a little bit. Yeah. So this one goes on this side.
I kept them in left, right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can tell
Yes,
they are.
Ah, gotcha.
So for this axle, the shims are actually completely different sizes.
Completely
The
different left
bearings
and
are
right.
different sizes. So you can't get the left-right backwards. Okay.
Not budging. There you go, there you go, there you go. You're almost in. I think you're in. Give it one more tap. Yep, good. At least it's no longer visible down the tube.
Yeah. And the thing is, the cap will send
it.
it all the way home.
Yep.
But yeah,
You're in.
I'm in.
Now that should have been harder to spread with the truss on, right?
A little bit. And I put my double divot here and a double divot here. So we got over in here, we routed the wiring. Routed the wiring. There's a double-ended bulkhead fitting. We plugged in, locked it down. Found the bolt that we lost. This part here stays. Here, spin the pinion, would you? Sure. So you can see that this spins, but this part is held in place with this little bracket here. And this is the part that plugs into the wiring and makes the locker go, and the rest of it is the differential. So, part of this upgrade, I decided to put in stronger axle shafts. Everything was coming apart. It doesn't take any extra effort to swap these out because these already had to come out. And you can see they look very similar. I mean, they taper down a little bit as they go. The spline ends are the same. The taper is the same. The big benefit of this is it's a stronger alloy of metal. These are actually RCV brand, which are a little pricey, but they match the RCV shafts I have up front. And I got them on sale at Jeep Safari, actually last year, and it's already after Safari this year, so I've had these a while. But yeah, they come all fully assembled. They've got the tone ring for the ABS sensor. They've got the bearing with the race and the retaining ring that holds the whole assembly together. And in theory, they just slide right in and go in place.
Need any special goop on the spline on that end?
No.
It's all oil bathed.
And let me make sure I get this oriented the right way.
What's this?
This is the retaining bracket.
So on a Dana 44 axle, that's what actually holds the shaft.
And that's a through hole.
Yep.
Yeah, in theory.
Let me line it up to you. There you go.
There you go.
And now it's lined up.
Bingo.
Okay. We decided to put the backing plate on the bench because it was just a little easier to get it lined up than trying to mess with it here. But also, this parking brake mechanism goes on a specific way. And so you got to match where the parking brake cable comes in and make sure that this doohickey is lined up with it, so that when you go to put your brake cables in, it all lines up. Yeah.
Okay, Yep. But this nut is not on. There it
It's
goes.
okay.
It's okay. It's
All
good.
it has to do is keep it from pulling out.
You want, okay, so you want to finish this
Give
tomorrow? Okay.
Chris the wrench. We need oil.
Well, you need to put the diff cover on.
I want it in the Jeep.
You want it in the Jeep before we fill it. Okay. In that case, Chris, grab the diff cover that is right behind you there.
Where'd I
Yep.
got it? Looks like it.
Aren't you gonna clean anything first?
He did.
It's been cleaned.
Yeah.
So
Very
just-
easily
just
called out.
Just put
Bolts
couple
and
in
holes.
the top.
The last new item coming out of the box.
Yay, unboxing videos. Drill arms.
Control arms. Yep.
With a nice sheet with all the numbers that you need to get them set to the right length.
Perfect.
Son of a gun. Lost it.
Yeah, it's easy to lose.
Yeah. Take it out.
So, boys, before you get too gung-ho,
Yeah.
on the front, the Johnny joints are all frame side.
Oh, are they?
Huh.
Nope. As soon as you do that, it wedges and I can't turn.
Oh. Oh, I
Not
didn't
that,
know.
not that much droop in the suspension.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what he meant by okay.
Yeah.
I thought okay was like let loose.
Oh, no. Okay means whatever I want it to mean.
Yeah, good point.
Let's see what I'm doing. It's perfectly fine until it's right at the spot it needs to be, and then it gets tight.
Do these need to be extended at all?
No, they're already adjusted.
Are you set?
And don't spin that.
No, I'm not.
Okay, ready?
So yeah, be prepared to
Guide.
guide. And don't worry about the track bar because it's gonna hit, but don't worry about it.
Okay.
So yeah, you need to be above the thing, so that it drops in the right way.
Got it.
So come back up.
Going up.
That was close.
I need you to help me to try to rotate the axle.
Okay.
Room to move the alignment punch around, and then use a mallet to get that bolt started.
Mallet.
Problem is, it gets sticky right where it's. The point is just to get it started.
Yep.
That's the only thing we're worried about right now.
100%.
Yeah, I would argue, so the bolt is started.
Yep.
So it needs to go to the rear just a hair.
Going? That gave us some flex, that's for sure.
Now hit it. There you go.
Now put a washer and a nut on that.
Real quick.
So the next trick is basically the pinion comes down, and these go into that socket.
Okay.
Stop. Almost there.
Pinion down.
Pinion down, yeah. There you go. That should. Not cleanly? Yeah, I thought I was there. There you go.
Well, I just kind of vaguely sitting in there.
You what?
I'm trying to find my hole.
Let me know when you're ready, Roy.
I'm ready.
Wait, are you holding it that way too?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You guys are doing it the same way.
Okay, guys.
Sucks.
Very, very slow.
On 3. Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I'm taut. I can let go.
Okay.
Control arms are.
Yep. So the next thing to try to get lined up is the track bar.
Yeah. Okay.
How far up do we want to go?
Enough to get the engine stand out of the way.
Yeah,
Enough to get the stand out of the way.
We're supposed to be working the engine the whole time?
Shit.
yeah, went in for an appendectomy and ended up with a lobotomy.
Well,
Guess who's here? It's me. I'm back.
it actually gets more complicated.
We put it in the safety
And actually,
tripod back in.
so the question before I get too far here, that'll. Crescent wrench. You could probably buy the right size wrench for each of these jam nuts, but at this point, okay. So this one's a little bit thinner. It fits on the smaller upper control arm jam nut without trying to turn the control arm as well. So not quite as big of an ugga-dugga.
Now, an obvious question that just came up is, what about the zerk fittings? Do they need grease?
Yeah,
Probably.
probably
Okay.
should grease some zerks. Okay. Eee.